The episode opens on an uneasy morning at Chancellor Winter's, where Billy Abbott is visibly agitated after his tense encounter with Jill Abbott. He storms into the office, his emotions barely contained, his voice sharp as he vents about the conversation that left him frustrated and humiliated. Jill, as always, had found a way to undermine him, questioning his decisions, pointing out his flaws, and comparing him to Kane Ashby as though he were the family disappointment all over again. Every word had landed like a blow, and now Billy can't stop replaying it in his head. Sally Spectra, who had been working nearby, senses the storm brewing before Billy even says a word. She watches him pace, his tone growing darker as he mutters that his own mother treats him like he's incapable of making anything work. Sally approaches carefully, trying to soothe him, but her own guilt weighs heavily on her heart because she knows she's hiding something that could shatter this fragile calm. Billy's tirade grows more intense as he recalls Jill defending Kane's business instincts while undermining his own. "She acts like I'm the problem," he snaps, his voice trembling between anger and hurt. "Kane gets every benefit of the doubt, and I get treated like I can't tie my own shoes." Sally tries to reassure him, telling him that he's doing fine, that Abbott Communications will take off once the right investors come along. But even as she says it, the words catch in her throat. Because she knows the right investor she's referring to is the same woman Billy just finished fighting with, Jill Abbott. In a quiet flashback, the screen fills with the image of Sally sitting in her apartment a few days earlier, nervously holding her tablet as she dials Jill over video call. Jill had appeared on the screen, composed and skeptical as ever. Sally, speaking carefully, had explained that she and Billy were building something innovative, something with heart and vision, but they needed a little financial push. Jill's reaction had been mixed, curious, even impressed by Sally's confidence, but non-committal. Still, Sally had hung up feeling hopeful. She'd taken a risk, but she'd done it for the right reasons. Now, though, as Billy's anger simmers in front of her, she feels that hope collapsing into fear. When Billy finally notices her unease, he stops mid-rant. "What?" he demands. "You've been looking at me like you've got something to say." Sally tries to brush it off, insisting that she's just worried about him, but Billy's instincts are sharp, especially when it comes to betrayal. He softens slightly, kissing her hand and thanking her for always having his back. That small gesture cuts Sally even deeper. She knows that when the truth comes out, when Billy learns she went behind his back to ask his mother for funding, this fragile peace between them will shatter. As Sally sits alone later, her anxiety consumes her. She replays every possible reaction Billy might have once he finds out. She knows his temper, his pride. He'll see her action not as love or initiative, but as disloyalty. And the timing couldn't be worse. They've only just reconciled after weeks of emotional distance. One secret like this could send him spiraling all over again. The countdown to Billy's meltdown has unofficially begun. Meanwhile, at the Newman Ranch, Victoria Newman arrives to speak with her father. Victor is seated behind his massive desk, radiating his usual aura of control and authority. He's been deeply engrossed in his ongoing war against Kane Ashby, and Victoria, who knows him better than anyone, can tell that he's enjoying every calculated step of this game. She asks him what he meant when he told her earlier that his plan had 2 phases. Victor smirks faintly, taking a slow sip of his drink before replying that phase 1 has gone exactly as expected, and now it's time for phase 2. Victoria presses him for details, her brow furrowing as she asks if this second phase involves Kane directly or if others will be caught in the crossfire. Victor's response is vague and unsettling. He assures her that everything is under control, but his evasive tone makes it clear he doesn't intend to share the full scope of his operation. The conversation soon shifts when Victor, changing gears, asks about Claire Newman. His interest seems casual at first, but Victoria recognizes that familiar glint of curiosity behind his eyes. He asks how things are going with Claire and Kyle Abbott, and Victoria hesitates before admitting they've broken up. Victor leans back, expression unreadable, but Victoria senses a hint of satisfaction beneath his calm exterior. "Kyle passed my test," he muses. "It's a shame things didn't work out." But his voice suggests otherwise, that he might have quietly orchestrated or welcomed the split. Victoria points out that Claire is now planning to head to Los Angeles with Holden Novak. That gets Victor's attention. His tone grows sharper, his concern more pronounced. He reminds Victoria that Los Angeles can be full of distractions and dangerous opportunities, especially for someone as emotionally vulnerable as Claire. Victoria listens quietly, recognizing her father's protectiveness but also his tendency to meddle. He tells her that if she truly wants to protect her daughter, she should go to Los Angeles herself, to keep an eye on things. This conversation lingers with Victoria long after she leaves the ranch. On her drive back to Newman Enterprises, she replays Victor's warnings, her instincts telling her he's right about one thing. Claire is walking into a situation that might not be as innocent as it seems. The thought of Holden Novak, someone Victoria barely knows, accompanying her daughter doesn't sit well. By the time she reaches her office, she's already on her phone, making inquiries, setting plans in motion. The hunter in her, the side she inherited from Victor,